everyone, and welcome to Club 3, episode 68 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM20 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So, do you ever get that feeling in any of your saves where your team is playing quite well, you're getting some reasonable results, but somehow it's not quite as good as you think it should be, or maybe it's going to be a little bit more tricky this season than you kind of thought it would be for some reason that you can't quite put your finger on? If we go around and have a look in the fixtures that we've played, that's not a bad set of results really, but the one issue that we've got again, which felt like we're retracting a little bit over a few seasons ago, where before we had the likes of Knoll and Loku Doku, where you look through these fixtures, and RB Leipzig was the biggest game that we played in pre-season and we lost it. And then in the other fixtures for this season, we came against Liverpool and we lost it. We came against Arsenal and we lost it. We came up against Borussia Dortmund and we lost it. And we're just not quite competing again one-on-one with the big teams when we come up against them. Whereas a couple of seasons ago, we were getting some slightly better results. So it's just something to think about as the season progresses a little bit, because the results are doing fine. And where are we currently sitting in the table? We're currently sitting in 4th place, which is absolutely fine. We're only 4 points behind the leaders Tottenham at the moment, which is fantastic. We are in the shout still, and with a shout still in the Champions League, but somehow I just get a feel that this team isn't quite playing as well as they should do. And one of the things that I've identified that I still want more from this unit is from the goal scorers. Now, if we look at Gouveia, it's going to take me ages still to figure out that name, having said it wrong for so long. Gouveia. Anyway, if we look at him, his stats for this season: 9 appearances, 5 goals, 3 assists is great. That's fantastic. If we go to the other side and we look at Olart and we go 8 games, 3 goals, 3 assists from a slightly deeper wide right position, that's great. We look at Martinez, who sits in just behind the striker, no assists, and that's a bit of an issue. And goals, he's got 3 and 9, which is reasonable. And we go to Pauletta, our number 1 goal scorer, and he's got 4 in 8, which is 1 every 2 games, which feels all right. But it's just not setting the place alight a bit, you know? And it's this position that I think I've got a little bit of a struggle with. We're doing great at the back. I still want to get Ivan into this position here. Unfortunately, again, he's only just coming back from an injury, so he can't play today. But he's going to make a real difference. In terms of star ratings through my squad, he's rated pretty much the best player. And we haven't been able to see him this season at all, really, which is disappointing. But anyway, it's this guy. I wonder just whenever Monterese comes back properly from his fitness issues, which he's had a little bit so far this season, I wonder whether we just drop out Pauletta for a while and put Monterese in a bit of a run of games. Just because, as I say, he's doing fine, but maybe this composure is a bit of an issue, and maybe the way that we play, he should be getting more goals than he is, and he's not quite managing it. So, something to think about. Anyway, I wondered whether you get anything like that for your own saves. You know, a sense that things are going well, things are doing all right, you're in the positions you kind of expect to be, but there's something there that you just can't quite put your finger on that means we should be doing slightly better, maybe. Anyway, that's for us to mull over as we continue through the season. Gouveia, he's playing really well, and he's at the top of the charts for pretty much all of these ratings in the player stats, which is fantastic. And we're doing pretty well in most of the team stats as well. So things are fine. It's just probably me. But anyway, today we get a first opportunity in the episode format to go into the Champions League. I've already been in a couple of times. If we go to my competition page, you can see that we've played 2 games and I'm sitting on 3 points, which is really good. I got a decent win against Salzburg. I lost to Borussia Dortmund 2-1. Disappointing result. We played okay, but we did lose in the end. And today is Ajax. And this is a game that is going to be really key to figuring out who then goes through in this group stage, I think. Because I think Borussia Dortmund are definitely stronger than either of us are, probably. So it just becomes about who finds that second spot. So quite an important game for today. And it's at home for today as well for us. So it's quite important to see if we can get that result. And we will do that to the best of our ability, of course. Couple of little things to tell you about with England. If we switch over to them and go to their schedule, you can see that since the World Cup final, we played 4 games in the Nations League, the UEFA Nations League, and we won 3 of them and drew 1 against Poland. Still haven't let a goal in. It's an amazing run that we've been on right away from the time where we were having friendlies, right the way through the World Cup into this new tournament, and we're still not letting goals in. That Poland game away from home was a tricky one. Had to rotate the side a little bit because there was a couple of knocks in the sort of first of those 2 games. We just needed to rest a couple of players, so it didn't quite light the place up, but we did okay. But that's a great defensive run, and we are finding something fairly similar in terms of looking at the Derby County run here in terms of this season so far. Conceding goals is not the problem. I mean, we anomaly against Southampton, absolutely, and then a mad game against West Ham. But other than that, that is not bad at all. So it's just about being a bit more clinical up front, it feels like. So for today's game against Ajax, we do have a couple of issues. We've got Cooper, who's picked up a knock. He's our rotating option on the left fullback position, so he won't be available today. We couldn't register Durmas, and that's only because when I restructured this side for this season, we had a slight imbalance in terms of those club homegrown players. We had 3 and not 4, unfortunately, so we had to leave a spot available because of that in our Champions League squad. Somebody had to miss out, and there was nobody under the age of 21 that had been at the club for long enough to be able to fulfill being able to play anyway, so we had to leave somebody out. I thought long and hard about Daniels and all sorts of things, but in the end I went for Durmas. He's a decent player, but I think his physicals are letting him down a little bit, and at the age of 20 I'm not seeing quite the improvement that I wanted to, although to be fair, because I haven't probably been playing him as much as I should, because we've now got the likes of Vogel come into the squad, who is doing reasonably well, although it hasn't really lit the place up just yet. And we've also got Olashenko, who again also hasn't quite been. Maybe this is the problem. Maybe it's the central midfield role that needs to change. I've looked at the striker position. Maybe it's this guy that's the problem in all of our setups, because those 3 players are not quite lighting the place up, are they? Anyway, and that's an aside. So anyway, Durmas isn't registered. We've got Farrow down the left, who's coming back from a knock. He's just not quite got the match sharpness, so we'll bring him on occasionally. He is going to find a place on the bench today, but it will only be for a few minutes if possible. And Monterese, again, is the one that's coming back from an injury. We will again put him on the bench. His match sharpness isn't too bad now, but we do need him to get a little bit more conditioning just before we chuck him in full time. So all of that means that today's game, along with Ivan, who's not quite ready to go back into the first team just yet, means that what have we got him there? ILM has to go back in. I played Ross Johnson in the last game because ILM picked a knock and I hadn't replaced him. I just out the corner of my eye saw the wrong goalkeeper then. Anyway, it's a real rambly episode. I'm sorry about that. Occasionally I just got to get things off my chest though, with the frustrations of these games at times. So anyway, what that means for today is that the team we're putting out is ILM in goal, Romario and Batista in central defence, with Osmani on the right of defence, Pellegrini at left back. We've got Joku, Vogel and Martinez in central midfield, with Alart on the right, Gouveia on the left and Paoletta up top, with a bench of Francois, Bogle, Olashenko, Barnils, Elliott, Farrow and Monterese. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So Christian Fuchs, my assistant manager, has done the team talk for me today. I just felt a new voice would be good for them, and he's basically just said we should ask them to do this for the fans. Hasn't got a brilliant response, has it? But it will do, and it will give us something to bat against at halftime if they don't quite manage to do that. A full house, which looked good today at Pride Park, which is fantastic for a home game in the Champions League. So let's see how we cope with Ajax. I think they are a slight step down from Borussia Dortmund, so I'm hopeful that we can compete really well, whatever the result turns out to be. And then we'll just have to find a way to see if we can overturn the game against Borussia Dortmund next time around, to see if we can do better in it. But overall, I think that we can be reasonably confident that we've got a real shout at getting out of this group, but we've got to play well today to do it. So let's see how we do it. And we've kept the ball really nicely in this period of play. That's been a very nice passage to take it all the way back, to keep it and then come back again and find a better space. And it's Osmani down the right-hand side. Cross eventually comes in and Paoletta underneath the ball slightly gets his angles wrong and loops the header over the top of the bar. But some really good controlled possession style of play, which is what I like to see in my side in this particular style, in sort of the tactic and formation that we're using today. So that's really encouraging in itself. It's just about those end products, isn't it, really? And let's see what happens here off the free kick. And it's Martinez over the ball with a free kick. And there is an end product. And Martinez gets, what was his 4th goal of the season, having looked at his stats from before. 4th goal of the season, I believe. And that's a really lovely free kick, isn't it? Goalkeeper just took a step to his left just as Martinez was approaching the ball, I think. And it just sent him off balance. And it meant that there was so much space down that side for Martinez to hit. And he did it really well. And we go 1-0 up. And that's a really, really good thing to be able to have a lead for the second half to try and hold on to. And let's see if we can make it any better. No mistakes, please, boys. Let's see if we can keep the ball well and work another chance. Down the right-hand side, and it's the overlapping fullback of Osmani again down that right-hand side. He's going to be really good for us long-term, I do believe that. And there is a demonstration of it. And Gouveia has brilliantly put that ball home. A lovely ball across. Takes out all of that central hubbub in the middle of the box from those couple of defenders that are there. And picks out a really, really nice ball. And it's Gouveia that just drops back to make the ball work for him. He brought the defender into the 6-yard box and drops back. And lovely, lovely finish. And this is going completely against. Of course it's going against everything I said at the beginning of the video, isn't it? Today we're showing up, we're playing well, we've got a couple of goals. It's pretty special, which is fantastic. So we can be happy with that. And they've responded well to that. We can send them back out. No issues with the conditioning of anybody at the moment. So we send them straight back out in the second half to continue doing what they're doing and see if we can really put this game to bed and still dominate the game right the way through the match if possible. So we'll watch out and see what happens with Ajax as to what they decide to do along the way. But there we go. Of course, when you talk about some concerns you've got, things change. But yeah, all I need now is a goal from Paoletta, really, just to cement it in as good a way as possible. Come on, that's written in the stars, isn't it? Absolutely written in the stars. Paoletta gets a goal just as you're encouraging him to do so, having suggested earlier in the day that maybe there's an issue there. Oh, you've got to love football and Football Manager at times, haven't you? Such a fun game. Anyway, there we go. Fantastic through ball. Brilliant finish by Paoletta. And we are absolutely dumping all over Ajax, which is fantastic to see. We're going to take the slightly injured Vogel off and put Olashenko in there just because, you know, that will keep him healthier. We've got an issue with a bit of complacency, but we haven't quite got the replacements on the bench for that today. So who do we want to have a look at? Monterese, we are going to have a look at him and give him some minutes. And the other one that needs a little bit of minutes, we're going to take Gouveia off and we're going to put in Farrow just to see if we can boost up some of that, the match sharpness with him, so he can become more of an option over the next couple of games. So we've lacked a few options in the last couple of weeks, which has been slightly damaging when we came up against the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal. Liverpool in the Cup, I've got to tell you, we went right the way through extra time and lost on penalties. It was so disappointing. We got a 0-0 draw, couldn't break them down at all, and then we got unlucky in the penalty shootout and ultimately went out on penalties, which was really disappointing. And the Arsenal game, to be fair to them, when we played them in the league, they just ran riot over us, to be honest. We weren't at the races all day long on that particular occasion. So what's happening here? Have we been given a penalty? Let's hope so. And free kick. Ooh, that was a bit close, I would have thought. Let's see exactly where the ball is placed down for the free kick, because, we don't even see it. But anyway, we didn't get a penalty. Fair enough. 3-0 up, I think we'll cope somehow. Hey, Pellegrini with a throw-in. Let's see if we can get one more chance before we go into the last 10 minutes of the game and hopefully suppress it enough just to see us through to the end. And it's a lovely, lovely move. Again, a lovely move. And Martinez shows up totally today. And fantastic long shot from the edge of the box. And I'll happily take it all back. They're all magnificent. There's no issues at all in my side. I don't know what I was thinking. It's all just fantastic. Till next game, and then who knows what it'll be. But anyway, what a fantastic strike that is. Martinez really, really doing the deed today. Can we just get one more attempt at goal, maybe for Monterrey to get on the score sheet? He's got an assist to his name, which is fantastic. But can he get one? No, he can't. That's unfortunate, but he will build his fitness back up again now, hopefully, and find a way to get into this team a little bit and see if we can get him a run of games. And if we can get Ivan into that defensive holding midfield role in as deep line playmaker, that's probably going to make us better too. So let's look out for that over the coming games. What a magnificent performance. What fantastic football that was. 4-0 at home against Ajax in the Champions League. You can't be anything other than really, really happy with that, can you? So that's what we're going to tell them. We're going to go check out and see what happened in the Borussia Dortmund match in our group stage as well, just to see what happened there and see what the group is looking like. And yeah, they continue to dominate, don't they? And Salzburg are a bit of the whipping boys of the group, really. And so let's go through the news feed. There's some injuries going around. We pick up a bit of money. What did Vogel get? He got a 2-day. That's not bad at all, is it really? Could be far worse than that, couldn't it? And Martinez was absolutely on form, along with a couple of other players as well. So that's fantastic to see. And that just boosts us up into second place with a 3-point gap now over Ajax. So that gives us something to work with in the second part of this group stage, doesn't it, really? And let's see if we can do something against Borussia Dortmund next time round as well. And see if we can really cement ourselves in this competition. The board expect us to get through this group and get to the first knockout stage as a minimum. So we really need to try and do that if possible. So what's coming up anyway for the next episode? What have we got? We've just been playing the Ajax game today. So we've got a couple more games to come. I think we're going to head for the Liverpool match. If we head for the Liverpool match, then the following game we'll come back and play the Dortmund game in the Champions League, the last of the group stages. So those will be the next couple of games. Some really, really tough games, aren't they, really, to be honest? But let's see if we can get revenge from this particular defeat on penalties here in the League Cup. Such a difficult draw so early in that competition. Anyway, that'll do it for today. Really weird episode. I tell you how bad I think my side are in a little way. And then they go and produce a performance like that. Maybe I just need to badmouth them every episode. Who knows? Join me for next one and see what happens there. Thanks for joining me today, though. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that like button and help me get seen by loads of other people. The more the merrier that join my ride, though, with me along in the United City community, the better it is all for everybody. So, yeah. Stick around and we'll see what happens next. Till next time though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.